Hello, this is Dan for BladeReviews.com with the mini bone collector. This is a small folding knife from Benchmade. Very cool little knife, something a little different from your more standard Griptilians and Presidios and stuff like that. Of course, from the bone collector line designed by Michael Waddell, who is some sort of celebrity hunter. To be honest, I don't know a whole lot about him, but he is something of an authority in the hunting industry, and he got this little collaboration going with Benchmade, and I like the look of the knives. They make some interesting ones with walnut handles, and wasn't able to get my hands on one of those, but I got this cool green and black G10 version, and been carrying it for a little while, so I wanted to give you some of my thoughts. So first of all, it was designed by Hunter, and presumably this is some sort of folding hunting knife. I think the blade shape is designed for skinning, and it's because it doesn't have much of a point there, and it's got this nice belly, plenty of belly there. So I believe this was designed as a hunting knife, but I am not a hunter, I'll confess. I grew up with a family of fishermen, and so did not take this thing out hunting with me, but I did carry it, and I think a lot of people will want to EDC this knife as well, so I'm going to give my review from that kind of standpoint. So while we're at it, let's just do the quick specs here. We've got a blade of 2.95 inches, an overall length of 7 inches, and a weight of just under 3.5 ounces. So very nice size for EDC. I like it, and the under 3-inch blade can be handy in some places, so I think it's definitely carryable and very stoutly built, which is where we get that 3.5 ounces from. This is a very stout knife. So let's take a look at the blade, which is made of a very thick piece of D2, which adds some weight there. That's part of the weight, but I think it's definitely worth it because this is just a nice big piece of D2. And for those unfamiliar with the steel, it is a tool steel, a very good high-performance steel, and something a little exotic on Benchmade knives. I mean, they've made a number of knives in D2 in the past, but for a lot of their smaller folding axis lock knives, they seem to make those in 154 cm. So I was attracted to the D2 in this knife, and it's held up really well. It's a very tough steel. It holds a good edge, and I haven't noticed any issues with corrosion or rust or anything like that. And I live in a humid environment, so I would think if those issues would crop up, this would probably be the place. So did not notice that. It's been given this nice kind of stonewash finish here, and it's got a flat grind that is about halfway up the blade, halfway to 3/4, depending on how you look at it. And as you can see there, it is very thick, and it just kind of thins out at the end there for the tip. So this partial flat grind is really strong. So it gives you good slicing, but still keeps a lot of strength in this blade. So if you're going to use this and carry it outdoors, I think it's definitely good for that. The handle, as I said, is kind of interesting because it's got this green and black G10 scales on it, which were hard to pick up in the camera when I tried to photograph this knife. So you may or may not be able to make the green out that well in the video. It is a dark green, like a forest kind of green, and it's pretty cool. It's subtle, but you can definitely see it's green, and it is a sculpted handle like many of Benchmade's knives. As you can see, it's been given this kind of cool pattern that is reminiscent of some bones here, a throwback, or homage to the Chuck Waddell hunting legacy, whatever that may be. It's got these kinds of rib or spinal column kind of look to it. Pretty neat, pretty different. I know some people really like the look of it. I do too. It's cool. It's definitely cool. As for more substantive kind of things going on with the knife, you do have full stainless liners that are pitch black, but you can see here they have been milled out, and that milling goes all the way to the end there. They did a good job skeletonizing these liners, and this large backspacer makes the handle very strong. So Good job with the handle. For ergonomics, it's comfortable. For a smaller knife, I find it does fit all 4 fingers on there comfortably. And you've got this kind of large, kind of choil looking thing, and it does work. It works pretty well. It feels good in hand. You've got some jimping on the handle here, not on the blade, and it works pretty well. It's not the most aggressive jimping. I'm not sure how it would hold up if you're actually, you know, inside a carcass or something trying to skin it and you got blood everywhere. But for EDC tasks, I found it to be very adequate. So not outstanding, but it's adequate jimping. And all in all, I'd say the ergonomics are pretty nice. You know, there's no extended choil or 50-50 choil or anything like that, but for a smaller knife, the handle is big enough and it does work well. So let's take a look at the pocket clip, which I have shown before on a couple of my other Benchmade knives. It is the famous Benchmade arrow clip, arrow shaped, and it is blackened and it's held up really well. Very nice clip, rides nice and deep, very discreet with the black finish, allows for tip up, ambidextrous carry, tip up only though, so no tip down. Great clip, one of my favorite clips up there. You know, I like that Spyderco wire clip a lot, but I also like this Benchmade arrow clip. These are both very nice. So, and deployment is done through a little spider hole here. Oh, excuse me, a Benchmade hole? I'm not sure. Well, you know, I guess we'll just call it a thumb hole. But the thing about this hole, I know a lot of people, myself included, really like the thumb holes, but on this Benchmade, it is pretty small, actually. I took a tape measure to it, and it's an 11mm hole, and something on, say, a Spyderco Sage is going to be 13mm. So, you know, that doesn't sound like a lot on paper, but in practice, it does make a big difference. And I don't know how easy this knife would be to deploy with gloves. I put some gardening gloves on there, which are obviously different from tactical or, you know, hunting gloves or anything like that. And with the gardening gloves, I definitely couldn't open this thing easily, but it definitely takes some getting used to. And maybe with training, you could open this with gloves, but I would say this is definitely, you know, if I were to ding it, it would be for this. This was my main complaint with the knife, but it's got the axis lock, so you can open it, you know, any way you want with the axis lock. I don't really have room to do all the tricks with it, but you can definitely do that. And once you do get the knife open, it does have the axis lock, which is great. I'm a big fan. And see, it's sticking now, but there you go. I can open and close it one-handed, which is a big accomplishment for me, being left-handed and fumbling awkwardly with a lot of those liner locks and frame locks designed for right-handed people. So, and as always, the axis lock is rock solid. This thing's there's no blade play in there at all. The full liners are really helpful there, I feel. I really like that. It's just a very solid construction, and the axis lock is well implemented here. All in all, this is a cool knife. If you're in the market for a small Benchmade folder, and you know you don't want to get the Griptilian that everybody and their mother has, you know, you might want to consider this bone collector. It's a little bit different. It's got the cool steel on it, very practical blade shape, nice handle. All in all, I really like it, so it definitely gets my endorsement. I think it's going to be, a lot of it's just a matter of taste and preference, and if you're a hunter, well, maybe that adds a couple bonus points for you. But all in all, I really like it. Okay guys, that's pretty much it for the review. Thanks so much for watching. Please stay tuned for more knife reviews.